blackout. And y'all know what them blacks about. Yeah. Okay, say it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Forget an LLC. The world was black owned. Black kings, black crowns on a black throne. Black kings, black queens making black clones. Black peace back east, bringing back those. Poverty, slavery, and they snatch souls. Prison system, feminism, and the crack soul. Still couldn't kill us, then we came back bold. The Most High put some fire on these black coals. I ain't here to jeopardize it, just to add a fire. This a Malcolm X mixed with some Hezekiah. This a Muhammad Ali with some Nehemiah. This some stop being the lowest, time to get higher. Even at our best, we still ain't maxed out. I wish I had a wood, I'd bring the axe out. And all we ever do is bring the facts out. Once the blacks come in, it's a blackout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We're raising up Israel. Let's go. We're raising up the Israelites. Let's go. We're raising up Israel. Let's go. We're raising up the Israelites. Let's go.
All right, shalom, shalom, Israel. I hope that we find you guys in perfect shalom. I hope that you guys were able to really enjoy your Shabbat yesterday. And first and foremost, thank you for bearing with us with our technical difficulties. We know we late, dealing with a new platform, had to get everything ready because we figured you guys only deserve the best, Zion. Yanakota, how you doing? You got my brother Yanakota in the building.
Yo, what's going on? How y'all doing? Shalom, shalom. What's going on?
All right. Now, without further ado, if y'all remember correctly, we left off with the last streaming being Jasher, chapter 31. As you see, you can follow along with us now as we go through the scriptures, picking up with chapter 32. It's right there with us on the platform, on the board right there. And we can go ahead and jump right on in this.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. He also got his mic muted, so let's go ahead into it. This is the book of Jasher, chapter 32. And at that time, Jacob sent messages to his brother Esau toward the land of Seir, and he spoke to him words of supplication. And he commanded them, saying, thus shall ye say to my lord, to Esau, thus thy servant Jacob, let not my lord imagine that my father's blessing, which he did bless me, has proved beneficial to me. For I have been these 20 years with Laban, and he did deceive me, and changed my wages 10 times. As it has been already told unto my Lord. And I served him in his house very laboriously. And Yahuwah afterwards saw my affliction and my labor and the work of my hands. And he caused to find grace and favor. And he caused me to find grace and favor in his sight. And afterwards, through Yahuwah's great mercy and kindness, acquired oxen and asses and cattle and men servant and maid servants. Lord, know All this in order to find favor in the sight of my Lord, so that he might not imagine that I have myself obtained wealth, but the blessing that which my Father has blessed me with has benefited me. And those messengers who went to Esau found him on the border of the land of Edom, going toward Jacob. 400 men of the children of Seir, the Horite, were standing with drawn swords. And the messengers of Jacob told Esau all the words that Jacob had spoken to them concerning Esau. And Esau answered them with pride and contempt and said to them, surely I have heard, and truly it is been told unto me what Jacob has done to Laban, who exalted him in his house and gave his daughters for wives, and he begot sons and daughters, and abundantly increased in wealth and riches in Laban's house through his means. And when he saw that his wealth was abundant and his riches great, he fled with all belonging to him from Laban's house. And he led Laban's daughters away from the face of their fathers as captives taken away by the sword without telling him of it. Not only to Laban has Jacob done this, but also unto me he has done so, has twice supplanted me. And shall I be silent? Scrolling up. Now therefore I have this day come with my camps to meet him, and I will do unto him according to the desires of my heart. And the messengers returned and came to Jacob and said unto him, we came unto thy brother Esau, and we told him all thy words, and he answered us. And behold, he cometh to meet thee with 400 men. Now then, know and see what thou shalt do. Pray before Yahuwah to deliver thee from him. And when he heard the words of his brother, which he had spoken to the messengers of Jacob, Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed. And Jacob prayed unto Yahuwah his Elohim. And he said, O Elohim of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, thou didst say unto me, when I went away from my father's house, saying, I am Yahuwah, the Elohim of Abraham, and the Elohim of Isaac, and unto thee I do give this land, and to thy seed after thee. And I will make thy seed as the stars of heaven, and thou shalt spread forth to the four sides of heaven, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And thou didst establish thy words, and didst give unto me riches and children and cattle, as the utmost riches of my heart didst thou give unto thy servant. Thou didst give unto me all that I asked from thee, so that I lack nothing. Thou didst afterwards say unto me, return to thy parents and to thy birthplace, and I will still do well with thee. And now that I have come, thou dost deliver me from Laban, and I shall fall into the hands of Esau, who shall slay me, yea, together with the mothers of my children. Now therefore, O Yahuwah, thy Elohim, deliver me. I pray thee also from the hands of my brother Esau, for I am greatly afraid of him. If there is no righteousness in me, do it for the sake of Abraham and my father Isaac. For I know that through kindness and mercy have I acquitted this wealth. Now therefore I beseech thee to deliver me this day with thy kindness, and answer to me. And Jacob ceased from praying to Elohim, and he divided the people that were with him and with the flock and the cattle into two camps. And he gave the half to the care of Demasak, the son of Eleazar, Abraham's servant, for the camp, and with his children. And the other half he gave the care of his brother Elineus, the son of Eleazar, for a camp with his children. And he commanded them, saying, keep yourselves at a distance with your camps, and do not come near each other. If Esau come to one camp and slay it, the other camp at a distance will escape from him. And Jacob tarried there at that night. During the whole night he gave his servants instructions concerning the forces of his children. And Yahuwah heard the prayer of Yaakov on that day. And Yahuwah then delivered Yaakov from the hands of his brother Esau. And Yahuwah sent three angels of the angels of heaven, and they went before Esau and came to him. And these angels appeared unto Esau and his people as 2,000 men riding upon horses, furnished with all sorts of war instruments. And they appeared in the sight of Esau and all his men to be divided into 4 camps with 4 chiefs to them. And one camp went on, and they found Esau coming with 400 men toward the brother Jacob. And the camp ran toward Esau and his people and terrified them. And Esau fell from his horse in alarm, and all his men separated from him in that place, for they were greatly afraid. And the whole camp shouted after them when they fled from Esau. All the warlike men answered, saying, surely we are the servants of Jacob, or Yaakov, who is the servant of Yahuwah. And who can stand against us? And Esau said to them, oh, then my Lord, my brother Jacob is your Lord. Who then whom have I not seen for these 20 years? Now that I have this day come to see him, did you treat me in this manner? And the angels answered him, saying, as Yahuwah liveth, were not Jacob, of whom thou speakest, thy brother, we had not let one remaining from thee and thy people, but only on the account of Yaakov will we do nothing to them. Wow. So I'm gonna pause right here. So what we got going on here is Esau is riding out to do harm to his brother, right? He has every intentions on doing some of the worst heinous stuff he can do. He wants to kill his brother and all that's with him. And so the Most High heard and started sending angels toward Esau, and Esau tried to use his brother as a means of getting out of this whooping. And the angel responded to him and said, only on the account of your brother we don't touch you and wipe out you and thy people. It's only on the account of thy brother. So the Most High would have wiped him out then and there if it wasn't for the fact that he was the brother of Jacob.
Notice how Esau confused the angel to be his brother.
Yeah.
That's different people.
Mm-hmm. All right. Pick it up at verse 34. And this camp passed from Esau and his men, and it went away, and Esau and his men had gone from them about a league when the second camp came toward them with all sorts of weapons. And they also did unto Esau and his men as the first camp had done to them. And when they had left it and to go on, behold, the third camp came toward him. And they were all terrified. And Esau fell off. He couldn't stay on his horse. Esau fell off his horse, and the whole camp cried out and said, surely we are the servants of Jacob, who is the servant of Yahuwah, and who can stand against us? And Esau again answered them, saying, then Jacob, my Lord, and your Lord, is my brother. For 20 years I have not seen his countenance, and hearing this day that he is coming, I went this day to meet him. And do you treat me in this manner? And they answered him, saying unto them, As Yahuwah liveth, were it not for Yaakov your brother, as thou didst say, we had not left a remnant from thee and thy men, but on the account of Yaakov, of whom thou speakest, being thy brother, we will not meddle with thee or thy men. And the third camp also passed from them, and he still continued on his road, and with his men toward Jacob. And when the fourth camp came toward him, they also did unto these men as the others had done. And Esau beheld the evil of which the four angels had done to him and his men, and he became greatly afraid of his brother Yaakov, and he went to meet him in peace. And Esau concealed his hatred against Yaakov. And because he was afraid of his life on the account of his brother Yaakov, because he imagined that four camps that he had lighted upon were Jacob's servants. And Jacob tarried that night with his servants in their camp. And he resolved with his servants and gave unto Esau presents from all that he had with him and from all his property. And Yaakov rose up in the morning, he and his men, and they chose from amongst the cattle to present to Esau, or for Esau. And this was the amount of the present which Yaakov chose from the flock to give unto his brother Esau. And he selected 240 head of flock. He selected from the camels and asses 30 each. And of the herds, he chose 50 kine. And he put them all in 10 droves, and he placed them each sort by itself. And he delivered them into the hands of 10 of his servants, each drove by itself. And he commanded them, and he said unto them, Keep yourselves at a distance for each other, and put space between the droves. And when Esau and those who are with him meet you and ask you, saying, Whose are you? Whither do you go? And to whom belongeth all this before you? You shall say unto them, We are the servants of Yaakov. We come to meet Esau in peace. And behold, Yaakov cometh behind us. And that which is before us is a present sent from Yaakov to his brother Esau. And if they shall say unto you, Why dost thou delay behind you from coming to meet his brother face to face? Then you shall say unto them, Surely he cometh joyfully behind us to meet his brother. For he said, I will appease him with presents that goeth to him, and after this I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept of me. So the whole present passed on in the hands of his servants and went before him on the day. And he lodged that night with his camps by the border, by the brook of the Jabal. And he rose up in the midst of the night, and he took his wives and his maidservants and all belonging with him. And he that night passed over the ford of the Jabal. And when he passed all belonging to him over the brook, Yaakov was left by himself. And a man met him, and he wrestled with him that night until the breaking day. And the hollow of Yaakov's thigh was out of joint through wrestling with him. In the break of day, the man left Yaakov there, and he blessed them and went away. And Yaakov passed the brook at that day, and he halted upon his thigh. And the sun rose up with him, and he passed the brook and came up upon the place of his cattle and children. And they went on until midday. Whilst they were going, the presence passed on before them. And Yaakov lifted up his eyes and looked. Behold, Esau was at a distance, coming along with many men, about 400. And Yaakov was greatly afraid of his brother. And Yaakov hastened and divided his children and his wives and his handmaids. And his daughter Dinah he put in a chest and delivered her into the hands of his servant. And he passed before his children and wives to meet his brother, and he bowed down to the ground. Yea, he bowed down 7 times until he approached his brother. And Yahuwah caused Yaakov to find grace and favor in the sight of Esau, his men, for Yahuwah had heard the prayer of Yaakov. And the fear of Yaakov and his terror fell upon his brother Esau, for Esau was greatly afraid of Yaakov for what the angels of Yahuwah had done to Esau. And Esau's anger against Yaakov was turned into kindness. When Esau saw Yaakov running toward him, he also ran toward him and embraced him. And he fell upon his neck, and they kissed and they wept. And he put fear and kindness toward Yaakov in his heart, in the hearts of the men that came with Esau, and they also kissed Yaakov and embraced him. Also Eliphaz, the son of Esau, with his 4 brothers, the sons of Esau, wept with Yaakov, and they kissed him and embraced him. For the fear of Yaakov had fallen upon all. And Esau lifted up his eyes and saw the women with their offspring and the children of Yaakov walking behind Yaakov, bowing along the road to Esau. And Esau said unto Yaakov, who are these with thee, my brother? Another way, he said, hey man, who are they? He said, and are they thy children and thy servants? And Yaakov answered Esau and said, they are my children, which Yahuwah had graciously given to thy servant. Whilst Yaakov was speaking to Esau and his men, Esau beheld the whole camp, and he said unto Yaakov, whence didst thou get the whole of the camp that I met yesternight or last night? And Yaakov said, to find favor in the sight of my Lord. It is that which Yahuwah graciously gave to thy servant. In the present that came before Esau, Yaakov pressed Esau, saying, take, I pray thee, the present that which I brought to my Lord for. And Esau said, wherefore is this my purpose? Keep that which thou hast until thyself. And Yaakov said, it is incumbent upon me to give all this, since I have seen thy face, thou still live in peace. And Esau refused to take the present. And Yaakov said unto him, I beseech thee, my Lord, now if I have found favor in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand, for I have therefore seen thy face, as though I have seen a godlike face, because thou has been pleased with me. And Esau took the present, and Yaakov also gave unto Esau silver and gold and bdellium, for he pressed him so much that he took them. And Esau divided the cattle that were in the camp, and he gave the half to the men who were with him, for they had come on hire. In other words, they were mercenaries. And the other half he delivered into the hands of his children. And the silver and the gold and bdellium he gave into the hands of Eliphaz, his eldest son. And Esau said unto Yaakov, let us remain with thee, and will we go slowly along until thee comest to my place with me, that we might dwell there together. And Yaakov answered his brother and said, I would do as my Lord speaketh unto me, but my Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flock and the herds, they're young, who are with me. Go, but slowly. But for if they went swiftly, they would all die. For thou knowest their burdens and their fatigue. Therefore, my Lord, pass on before his servant, and I will go on slowly. and for the sake of the children and the flock, until I come into my Lord's place at Seir. And Esau said unto Yaakov, I will place with thee some of the people that are with me to take care of thee in the road and bear thy fatigue and burden. And he said, what needeth it, my Lord, if I may find grace in thy sight? Behold, I will come unto thee to Seir, to dwell there together as thou hast spoken, to go then with thy people, for I will follow thee. And Yaakov said this to Esau in order to remove Esau and his men from him, so that Jacob or Yaakov might afterward go to his father's house in the land of Canaan. See, he had no intentions on going to Seir. And Esau hearkened to the voice of Yaakov. And Esau returned with the 400 men that were with him on the road to Seir. And Yaakov and all that were belonging with him that day as far as the extremity of the land of Canaan in its borders, and remained there some time. All right. Going into chapter 33.
All right. Just pushing forward. Some good word here today. All right. Chapter 33. And in some time after Yaakov went away from the borders of the land, and he came to the land of Shelem, that is the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. And he rested in front of the city, and he bought a parcel of the field which was there from the children of Kamar, the people of the land, for 5 shekels. And Yaakov there built himself a house, and he pitched his tent there, and he made Succoth for his cattle. Therefore he called the name of that place Succoth. And Yaakov remained in Succoth a year and 6 months. At that time some of the women of the inhabitants of the land went to the city of Shechem to dance and rejoice with the daughters of the people of the city. And when they went forth, then Rachel and Leah, the women of Yaakov, with their families, also went to behold the rejoicing of the daughters of the city. And Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, also went along with them, and saw the daughters of the city. And they remained there before these daughters, while all the people of the city were standing by them to behold their rejoicings. And all the great people of the city there were there. And Shechem, the son of Hamor, the prince of the land, was also standing there to see them. And Shechem beheld Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, sitting with her mother before the daughters of the city. And the damsel pleased him greatly. And he there asked his friends and his people, saying, whose daughter is that sitting amongst the women whom I do not know in this city? And they said unto him, surely this is the daughter of Yaakov, the son of Yitzhak, the Eri, who has dwelt in this city for some time. And when it was reported that the daughters of the land were going forth to rejoice, she went with her mother and maidservants to sit amongst them, as you are. And Shechem beheld Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov. And when he looked at her, his soul became fixed upon Dinah. And he went, and he had her taken by force. And Dinah came to the house of Shechem, and he seized her forcibly, and lay with her, and humbled her. And he loved her exceedingly, and placed her in his house. Not only did he kidnap her from her mom and her maid servants, he turned around and raped her, all by force, to show your love because you love her, apparently. Picking up with verse 12. And they came and told the thing unto Yaakov. And when Yaakov heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah, Yaakov went 12 of his servants to fetch Dinah from the house of Shechem. And they went and came to the house of Shechem to take away Dinah from there. And when they came, Shechem went out to them with his men and drove them from his house. And he would not suffer them to come before Dinah. But Shechem was sitting with Dinah, kissing and embracing her before their eyes. And the servants of Yaakov came back and told them, saying, when we came, he and his men drove us away. And thus did Shechem do unto Dinah before our eyes. And Yaakov knew, moreover, that Shechem had defiled his daughter. But he said nothing, and his sons were feeding his cattle in the field. And Yaakov remained silent till their return. Now it starts to make sense when you read the story of what went down in Genesis. It goes further into detail just why the brothers of Dinah, our predecessors, would turn around and deal with Shechem and his people the way that he dealt with them. Because not only did you kidnap our daughter, our sister, you raped her, and then you turned around and rubbed it in our face while forcefully driving our people away. Like, now it starts to make a little bit more sense. Excuse me. Verse 16. And before his sons came home, Yaakov sent 2 maidens from his servants' daughters to take care of Dinah in the house of Shechem and to remain with her. And Shechem sent 3 of his friends to his father Kamor, the son of Kadikam, the son of Peri, saying, get me this damsel for a woman. And Kamor, the son of Kadikam, the Hivite, came to the house of Shechem, his son, and he sat before him. And Kamor said unto his son Shechem, is there then no woman amongst the daughters of your people that you will take an Hebrew woman who is not of your people? And Shechem said to him, her only must you get for me, for she is delightful in my sight. And Kamor did according to the word of his son, for he was greatly beloved by him. Verse 19. And Kamor went forth to Yaakov to commune with him concerning this matter. And when he had gone from the house of his son Shechem, before he came to Yaakov to speak unto him, behold, the sons of Yaakov had come from the field. As soon as they heard the thing that Shechem, the son of Kamor, had done, and the men, excuse me, let me fix this. And the men were very much grieved concerning their sister, and they all came home fired with anger before the time of gathering and their cattle. And they came and sat before their father, and they spoke unto him, kindled with wrath, saying, surely death is due to this man and to his household, because Yahuwah Elohim of the whole earth commanded Noah and his children that man shall never rob nor break wedlock. Now, behold, Shechem has both ravished and committed fornication with our sister, and not one of the people of the city spoke a word to him. Surely you know and understand that the judgment of death is due to Shechem and to his father and to the whole city on account of the thing which he has done. And while they were speaking before their father in this matter, behold, Kamor, the father of Shechem, came to speak to Yaakov the words of his son concerning Dinah, and he sat before Yaakov and before his sons. You see, yeah, they might have been pissed off that this thing was happening, that this thing had happened, but more than that, it was a righteous wrath.
Right. They had every right to be mad.
Like they literally went against the laws that was given down to Noah, the Noahide laws.
Facts.
Moving on. And Camor, verse 24, and Camor spoke unto them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. I pray you give her unto him for a woman, and intermarry with us. Give us your daughters, and we will give you our daughters. And you shall dwell with us in our land, and we will be as one people in the land. For our land is very extensive. So dwell ye and trade therein, and get possessions in it, and do therein as you desire. And no one shall prevent you by saying a word to you. And Camor ceased speaking unto Yaakov and his sons. And behold, Shechem and his son had come after him, and he sat before them. And Shechem spoke before Yaakov and his sons, saying, may I find favor in your sight, that you will give me your daughter, and whatsoever you say unto me, that will I do for her. Ask me for abundance of dowry and gift, and I will give it. And whatsoever you shall say unto me, that will I do. And whosoever he be that will rebel against your orders, he shall die. Only give me the damsel for a woman. And Simon and Levi answered Camor and Shechem his sons deceitfully, saying, all you have spoken unto us we will do for you. And behold, our sister is in your house, but keep away from her until we send to our father Yitzchak concerning this matter, for we can do nothing without his consent. For he knows the ways of our father Abraham, and whatsoever he says unto us, we will tell you. We will conceal nothing from you. And Simon and Levi spoke this unto Shechem and his father in order to find a pretext and to seek counsel what was to be done to Shechem and to his city in this matter. All right, verse 33. And when Shechem and his father heard the words of Simon and Levi, it seemed good in their sight. And Shechem and his father came forth to go home. And when they had gone, the sons of Yaakov said unto their father, saying, behold, we know that death is due to these wicked ones and to their city, because they transgressed that which Elohim had commanded unto Noah and his children and his seed after them. And also because Shechem did this thing to our sister Dinah in defiling her, for such vileness shall never be done amongst us. Now therefore, know and see what you will do, and seek counsel and pretext what is to be done to them, in order to kill all the inhabitants of the city. And Simeon said to them, here is a proper advice for you. Tell them to circumcise every male amongst them as we are circumcised. And if they do not wish to do this, we shall take our daughter from them and go away. And if they consent to do this and will do it, then when they are sunk down with pain, we will attack them with our swords, as upon one who is quiet and peaceable, and we will slay every male person amongst them. And Simeon's advice pleased them. And Simeon and Levi resolved to do unto them as it was proposed. And on the next morning, Shechem and Hamor his father came again unto Jacob and his sons to speak concerning Dinah, and to hear what answer the sons of Jacob would give to their words. And the sons of Jacob spoke deceitfully to them, saying, We told our father Yitzchak all your words, and your words pleased him. But he spoke unto us, saying, Thus did Abraham his father commanded him from Elohim Yahuwah of the whole earth, that any man who is not of his descendants that should wish to take one of his daughters shall cause every male belonging to him to be circumcised, as we are circumcised. And then we may give him our daughter for a woman. Now we have made known to you all our ways that our fathers spoke unto us, for we cannot do this of which you spoke unto us, to give our daughter to an uncircumcised man, for it is a disgrace to us. But herein will we consent to you to give you our daughter, and we will also take unto ourselves your daughters, and will dwell amongst you, and be one people as you have spoken. If you will hearken to us and consent to be like us, to circumcise every male belonging to you, as we are circumcised. And if you will not hearken unto us, to have every male circumcised as we are circumcised, and we have commanded, then we will come to you and take our daughter from you and go away. And Shechem and his father Hamor heard the words of the sons of Jacob, and the thing pleased them exceedingly. And Shechem and his father Hamor hastened to do the wishes of the sons of Jacob, for Shechem was very fond of Dinah, and his soul was riveted to her. And Shechem and his father Hamor hastened to the gate of the city. And they assembled all the men of their city, and spoke unto them the words of the sons of Jacob, saying, We came to these men, the sons of Jacob, and we spoke unto them concerning their daughter. And these men will consent to do according to our wishes. And behold, our land is of great extent for them, and they will dwell in it and trade in it. And we shall be one people. We will take their daughters, and our daughters we will give unto them for women. But only on this condition will these men consent to do this thing, that every male among us be circumcised, as they are circumcised, as their Elohim commanded them. And when we shall have done according to their instructions to be circumcised, then will they dwell among us together with their cattle and possessions, and we shall be as one people with them. And when all the men of the city heard the words of Shechem and his father Hamor, then all the men of the city were agreeable to this proposal, and they obeyed to be circumcised. For Shechem and his father Hamor were greatly esteemed by them, being the princes of the land. And on the next day, Shechem and Hamor, his father, rose up early in the morning, and they assembled all the men of their city into the middle of the city. And they called for the sons of Jacob, who circumcised every male belonging to them on that day and the next. And they circumcised Shechem and Hamor, his father, and the 5 brothers of Shechem. And then everyone rose up and went home, for this thing was from Yahuwah against the city of Shechem, and from Yahuwah was Simeon's counsel in this matter. in order that Yahuwah might deliver the city of Shechem into the hands of Yaakov, 2 sons. All right. That's the end of chapter 33. We're moving right on along to chapter 34. As my brother Yanakota picks up.
All right, all right. Here we go. The book of Jasher, chapter 34, verse 1. And the number of all the men that were circumcised were 645 men. 246, 246 children. But Kezedechem, the son of Pered, the father of Hamor, and his 6 brothers would not listen to Shechem and his father, Hamor, and they would not be circumcised. For the proposal of the sons of Jacob was loathsome in their sight, and their anger was greatly aroused at this, that the people of the city would not hearken to them. And in the evening of the 2nd day, they found 8 small children who had been circumcised, for their mother had not been circumcised, for the mothers had concealed them from Shechem and his father Hamor, and from the men of the city. And Shechem and his father sent to have brought before them the circumcised. And when Kezedechem and his 6 brothers sprang at them with their swords, they sought to slay them. And they sought to slay also Shechem and his father Hamor. And they sought to slay Dinah with them on the account of this matter. And they said unto them, what is this thing that you have done? Are there no women amongst the daughters of your brethren, the Canaanites, that you wish to take unto yourselves the daughters of the Hebrews, and whom you knew not before, will do this act which your fathers never commanded you? Do you imagine that you will succeed through this act which you have done, that you will answer in this affair before the brethren of the Canaanites, whom will come tomorrow and ask you concerning this thing? And if your act shall not appear just and good in their sight, what will you do for your lives, and men for our lives? And you're not having hearkened to our voices. And if the inhabitants of the land and all your brethren of the children of Ham shall hear of your act, saying, on the account of the Hebrew women did Shechem and Hamor his father and all the inhabitants of their city do that which they had unacquainted, that they had been do that which they had not, they had been unacquainted, which their ancestors never commanded them, where then will you fly, or where conceal your shame? All your days before your brethren, the inhabitants of the land of Canaan. Now, therefore, we cannot bear up against this thing which you have done, neither can we be burdened with this yoke upon us, which our ancestors did not command us. I'm going to say that again, which our ancestors did not command us. This is the children of Ham now. This is why it's so important about the circumcision. It was only given to Abraham and his seed after him. Verse 12, behold, tomorrow we will go and assemble all our brethren, the Canaanite brethren, whom dwell in the land, and we will all come and smite you and all those who trust in you, that there shall not be a remnant left from you or them. And when Hamor and his sons and his son Shechem and all the people of the city heard the words of Kezedechem and his brother, they were terribly afraid of their lives at their words, and they repented of what they had done. And Shechem and his father Hamor answered their father Chazedecum, their brethren, and his brethren, and they said unto them, all the words which you spoke unto us are true. Now do not say nor imagine in your hearts on the account of the love of the Hebrews we did this thing, that our ancestors did not command us, because we saw that it was not their intentions and desire to accede to our wishes concerning their daughter as to our taking her, except on this condition. So we hearkened to their voices and did this act which you saw, in order to obtain our desire from them. And when we shall have attained our request from them, we will then return to them and do unto them that which you say unto us. We beseech you then to wait and tarry until our flesh shall be healed, and we again become strong, and we will then go together against them and do unto them that which is in your hearts and in our hearts. And Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, heard all the words which Chazedecum and his brethren had spoken, and what Hamor and his son Shechem and the people of their city had answered them. And she hastened and sent one of her maidens, and her father had sent to take care of her in the house of Shechem, and to Jacob her father, and to her brother, and saying, thus did Chazedecum and his brothers advise concerning you, and thus did Hamor and Shechem and all the people of the city answer them. And when Jacob heard these words, he was filled with wrath, and he was indignant at them, and his anger was kindled against them. And Simeon and Levi swore and said, as Yahuwah liveth, the Elohim of the whole earth, by this time tomorrow there shall not be a remnant left in the whole city. And 20 young men had concealed themselves who were not circumcised, and these men fought against Simeon and Levi, and Simeon and Levi killed 18 of them. 2 fled from them and escaped to some lime pit that were in the city, and Levi and Simeon sought for them but couldn't find them. And Simeon and Levi continued to go about the city and killed all the people of the city at the edge of the sword. They left none remaining. There was a great consternation in the midst of the city, and the cry of the people of the city ascended to heaven, and all the women and children cried aloud. And Simeon and Levi slew all the city. They left not a male remaining in the whole city. They slew Hamor and Shechem, his son, at the edge of the sword. And they brought away Dinah from the house of Shechem, and they went from there. And the sons of Jacob went and returned and came upon the slain and spoiled the property which was in the city and the field. Whilst they were taking the spoil, 300 men stood up and threw dust at them and struck them with stones. When Simeon turned to them, he slew them all with the edge of the sword. And Simeon turned before Levi and came into the city. And they took away their sheep and their oxen and their cattle, and also the remaining women and little one they led away. They led these away. And they opened the gate and went out and came into their father Jacob with vigor. And when Jacob saw all that they had done to the city and saw the spoil that they had took from them, Jacob was very angry at them. And Jacob said unto them, what is this that you have done to me? Behold, I obtained rest amongst the Canaanitish inhabitants of the land, and none of them meddled with me. Verse 33. Now you have done this to make me obnoxious to the inhabitants of the land amongst the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I am but of a small number, and they will all assemble against me and slay me when they hear your work with your brethren, and I and my household will be destroyed. And Simeon and Levi and all their brothers with them answered Yaakov their father and said unto them, Behold, we live in the land, and shall Shechem do this to our sister? Why art thou silent at all that Shechem has done? Shall he deal with our sister as with a harlot in the streets? And the number of the women whom Simeon and Levi took captive from the city of Shechem, whom they did not slay, was 85 who had not known man. And amongst them a young damsel was beautiful in appearance and well favored, whose name was Bunah. And Simeon took her for a wife. And the number of the males which they took captive and did not slay was 47 men. The rest they slew. And all the young men and women that Simeon took and had taken captive from the city of Shechem were servants of the sons of Yaakov and their children after them until the day of the sons of Yaakov going forth into the land of Egypt. When Simeon and Levi had gone forth from the city, the two young men that were left, who had concealed themselves within the city and did not die amongst the people of the city, rose up. These young men went into the city, and they walked about, and they found the city desolate without man, only women weeping. These young men cried out and said, Behold, this evil which the sons of Yaakov the Hebrew did to the city, in having this day destroyed one of the Canaanitish cities, and were not afraid of their life in the land of Canaan. And these men left the city and went to the city of Tapnach, and they came there, and they told the inhabitants of Tapnach all that had befallen them, and all that the sons of Yaakov had done to the city of Shechem. And the information reached Yashub, king of Tapnach, and he sent men to the city of Shechem to see those young men. For the king did not believe them in this account, saying, How could two men lay waste to such a large city as Shechem? And the messengers of Yashub came back and told him, saying, We came into the city, it is destroyed. There is not a man there, only weeping women. Neither is any flock or cattle there, for all that was in the city the sons of Yaakov has taken away. And Yashub wondered at this, saying, How could two men do this thing, to destroy so large a city, not one man able to stand against them? For the like has not been from the days of Nimrod, not even from the remotest times has the like taken place. And Yashub, the king of Tapnach, and he said to his people, Be courageous, and we will go and fight against these Hebrews, and do unto them as they do unto the city, and we will avenge the cause of the people of the city. Verse 44. And Yashub, king of Tapnach, consulted with his counselors about the matter, and his advisors said unto him, Alone thou wilt not prevail over the Hebrews, for they must be powerful to do this work to the whole city. If two of them laid waste the whole city, no one stood up against them. Surely if thou wilt go against them, they will all rise against us and destroy us likewise. But if thou wilt send to all the kings that surround us and let them come together, then we will prevail and go with them and fight and go with them and fight against the sons of Yaakov. Then wilt thou prevail against them. And Yashub heard the words of his counselors, and their words pleased him and his people. And he did so. And Yashub, king of Tebnach, sent to all the kings of the Amorites that surrounded Shechem and Tebnach, saying, Go up with me and assist me, and we will smite Yaakov the Hebrew and all his sons, and destroy them from the earth. For thus did he do to the city of Shechem. And do you not know of it? And all the kings of the Amorites heard the evil that the sons of Yaakov had done to Shechem, and they were greatly astonished at them. And the 7 kings of the Amorites assembled with all their armies, about 10,000 men with drawn swords, and they came to fight against the sons of Yaakov. And Yaakov heard that the kings of the Amorites assembled to fight against the sons of Yaakov. And Yaakov was greatly afraid, and it distressed him. And Yaakov exclaimed against Simeon and Levi, saying, What is this act that you did? Why have you injured me to bring against me all the children of Canaan to destroy me and my household? For I was at rest, even I and my household, and you have done this thing to me and provoked the inhabitants of the land against me with your proceedings. And Yehuda answered his father, saying, Was it for naught my brothers Simeon and Levi killed all the inhabitants of Shechem? Surely it was because Shechem had humbled our sister and transgressed the commands of our Elohim to Noah and his children. For Shechem took our sister away by force and committed adultery with her. And Shechem did all this evil, and not one of the inhabitants of his city interfered with him to say, Wilt thou do this? Surely for this my brothers went and smote the city, and Yahuwah delivered it into their hands, because the inhabitants had transgressed the commands of our Elohim. Is it then for naught that they have done all of this? And now, why art thou afraid or distressed? Why art thou displeased with my brothers? Why is thy anger kindled against them? Surely our Elohim, who delivered into their hand the city of Shechem and its people, he will also deliver into our hands all the Canaanitish kings who are coming against us, and we will do unto them as my brothers did unto Shechem. Now be tranquil about them, and cast away thy fears, and trust in Yahuwah thy Elohim, and pray unto him to assist us, and deliver our enemies into our hands. And Yehuda called to one of his father's servants, Go now and see where those kings and who are coming against us and are situated with their armies. And the servant went and looked far off and went up on the opposite mountain, Mount Sihon, and saw the camps of the king standing in the fields. And he returned to Yehuda and said, Behold, the kings are situated in the field with all their camps, a people exceedingly numerous, like unto the sand upon the seashore. And Yehuda said unto Simeon and Levi and to all his brothers, Strengthen yourselves and be sons of valor, for Yahuwah our Elohim is with us, and do not fear them. Stand forth each man, girt with his weapons of war, his bow and his sword, and we will go and fight against these uncircumcised men. Yahuwah, our Elohim, will save us. And they rose up, each girt on his weapons of war, great and small, 11 sons of Yaakov. All the servants of Jacob was with them. And all the servants of Isaac who were with Isaac at Hebron all came to them equipped with all sorts of war instruments. And the sons of Yaakov and their servants, being 112 men, went toward these kings. And Yaakov also went with them. And the sons of Yaakov sent unto their father Isaac, the son of Abraham, to Hebron, and the same is Kiriath Arba, saying, Pray, we beseech you, we beseech thee for us to Yahuwah our Elohim to protect us from the hands of the Canaanites who are coming against us, to deliver us from their hands, and to deliver them into our hands. Verse 65. And Yitzhak, the son of Abraham, prayed unto Yahuwah for his sons. And he said, O Yahuwah Elohim, thou didst promise my father, saying, I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven. And thou did also promise me and established thy word, thy word, now that the kings of Canaan are coming together to make war with my children, because they committed no violence. Now therefore, Yahuwah Elohim, Elohim of the whole earth, pervert, I pray thee, the counsel of these kings, that they may not fight against my sons. Impress the hearts of the kings and their people with terror of my sons, and bring down their pride, that they may turn away from my sons. And with thy strong hand and outstretched arm, deliver my sons and their servants from them. For power and might are in thy hands to do all this. And the sons of Yaakov and their servants went toward these kings, and they trusted in Yahuwah their Elohim whilst they were going. And Yaakov their father also prayed unto Yahuwah and said, O Yahuwah, powerful, exalted Elohim, who has reigned from days of old, from thence till now and forever. Thou art he who stirreth up wars and causeth them to cease. In thy hands are power and might to exalt and to bring down. Oh, may my prayer be acceptable before thee, that thou mayest turn to me with thy mercies, and impress the hearts of these kings and their people with terrors of my son, and terrify them in their camp with thy greatness. Deliver all those that trust in thee. For it is thou who canst bring people under us and reduce nations under our power.
Hallelujah. Boy, oh boy. All right. So we are pushing forward, moving into chapter 35. We got one more chapter after this. We'll be wrapping up with chapter 36. Thank you guys for holding in there with us. I hope y'all are getting as much enjoyment and stimulation from this study as we are, because this is definitely not a book that is highly talked about as much, or at least gone through step by step the way that we are doing it, verse by verse. So again, I appreciate y'all for clicking in with us and holding strong with us, pushing right forward into chapter 35. And all the kings of the Amorites came and took their stand in the field to consult with their counselors what was to be done with the sons of Yaakov. For they were still afraid of them, saying, Behold, 2 of them slew the whole city of Shechem. And Yahuwah heard the prayers of Yitzhak and Yaakov, and he filled the hearts of all these kings' advisors with great fear and terror. And they unanimously exclaimed, Are you silly this day, or is there no understanding in you, that you will fight with the Hebrew? And why will you take a delight in your own destruction this day? Behold, two of them came to the city of Shechem without fear or terror, and they killed all the inhabitants of the city, that no man stood up against them. And how will you be able to fight with them all? Verse 5. Surely you know that their Elohim is exceedingly fond of them, and has done mighty things for them, such as have not been done from days of old. And amongst all the Elohim of the nations there is none can do like unto his mighty deeds. Surely he delivered their father Abraham the Hebrew from the hand of Nimrod, and from the hand of all his people, and had many times sought to slay him. He delivered him also from the fire in which King Nimrod had cast him, and his Elohim delivered him from it. And who else can do the like? Surely it was Abraham who slew the 5 kings of Elam when they had touched his brother's son, who in those days dwelt in Sodom, and took his servant that was faithful in his house, and a few of his men, and they pursued the kings of Elam in one night, and killed them, and restored to his brother's son all his property which they had taken from him. And surely you know the Elohim of these Hebrew is much delighted with them, and they are also delighted with him, for they know that he delivered them from all their enemies. And behold, through his love toward his Elohim, Abraham took his only and precious son, and intended to bring him up as an ascending smoke offering to his Elohim. And had it not been for Elohim, who prevented him from doing this, he would then have done it through his love to his Elohim. They're going through step by step everything that the Most High has done for our ancestors, showing the multitudes of times where we have showcased the love for each other, the love that we have for the Most High, the love that the Most High have for us. Verse 12. And Elohim saw all his works, and swore unto him, and promised him that he would deliver his sons and all his seed from every trouble that would befall them, because he had done this thing, and through his love to his Elohim stifled his compassion for his child. Verse 13. And have you not heard what their Elohim did to Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, and to Abimelech, king of Gerar, through taking Abraham's woman, who said of her, she is my sister, lest they might slay him on account of her, and think of taking her for a woman. And Elohim did unto them and their people all that you heard of. And behold, we ourselves saw with our eyes that Esau, the brother of Jacob, came to him with 400 men, with the intention of slaying him. See, it wasn't no secret what Esau was finna do. Had the intention of slaying him, for he called to mind that he had taken away from him his father's blessing. And he went to meet him when he came from Aram, to smite the mother with the children, and who delivered him from the hands but his Elohim, in whom he trusted. He delivered him from the hands of his brother, and also from the hands of his enemies, and surely he again will protect them. Who does not know that it was their Elohim who inspired them with strength to do to the town of Shechem the evil which you have heard of? Could it then be with their own strength that 2 men could destroy such a large city as Shechem, had it not been for their Elohim, in whom they trusted? he said and did unto them all this to slay the inhabitants of the city and their city. And verse 18, and can you then prevail over them who have come forth together from your city to fight with the whole of them, even if 1,000 times as many more should come to your assistance? Surely you know and understand that you do not come to fight with them, but you come to war with their Elohim, and made choice of them. And you have therefore all come this day to be destroyed. Now, therefore, refrain from this evil which you are endeavoring to bring upon yourselves, and it will be better for you not to go to battle with them, although they are but few in numbers, because their Elohim is with them. And when the kings of the Amorites heard all the words of their advisors, their hearts were filled with terror, and they were afraid of the sons of Yaakov, and would not fight against them. And they inclined their ears to the words of their advisors, and they listened to all their words, and all the words of their counselors greatly pleased the kings, and they did so. And the kings turned and refrained from the sons of Yaakov, for they dared not approach them to make war with them, for they were greatly afraid of them, and their hearts melted within them from their fear of them. For this proceeded from Yahuwah to them, for he heard the prayers of his servants Yitzchak and Yaakov, for they trusted in him. And all these kings returned with their camps on that day, each to his own city, and they did not at that time fight with the sons of Yaakov. And the sons of Yaakov kept their station that day till evening opposite Mount Sicon. And seeing that these kings did not come to fight against them, the sons of Yaakov returned home. All right, I guess chapter 35 was pretty quick and to the point. Moving on with chapter 36, Yanakosa.
Yep, I'm here. All right. Book of Jasher, chapter 36, verse 1. At that time, Yahuwah appeared to Yaakov, saying, arise and go to Bethel and remain there, and make there an altar to Yahuwah, who appeared unto thee, who delivered thee and thy sons from affliction. And Yaakov rose up with his sons and all belonging with him, or to him, and they went, and they came to Bethel, according to the word of Yahuwah. And Yaakov was 99 years old when he went up to Bethel. And Yaakov and his sons and all the people that were with him remained in Bethel and Luz. And there he built an altar to Yahuwah, who appeared unto him. And Yaakov and his sons remained in Bethel 6 months. At that time died Deborah, the daughter of Uz, the nurse of Rebekah, who had been with Yaakov. And Yaakov buried her beneath Bethel, under the oak that was there. And Ribkah, the daughter of Bethel, the mother of Jacob, also died at that time in Hebron, the same as Kiriath Arba. And she was buried in the cave of Machpelah, which Abraham bought from the children of Heth. And the life of Ribkah was 133 years, and she died. When Yaakov heard that his mother, Ribkah, was dead, he wept bitterly for his mother, and made a great mourning for her, and for Deborah, her nurse, beneath the oak. And he called the name of that place Alam Bakuth. And Laban, the Syrian, died in those days, for Yahuwah smote him, because he had transgressed the covenant that existed between him and Yaakov. Remember when he went and told Esau all that lie, and he tried to get Esau to kill his brother. He transgressed that covenant that they made right up there on that mount. So that's what that's referring to. So the Most High said, you're not getting off that easy. The Most High smote him and killed him. And it says, and Yaakov was 100 years old when Yahuwah appeared unto him and blessed him and called his name Yisrael. And Rachel, the wife of Yaakov, conceived in those days. And at that time, Yaakov and all belonging to him journeyed from Bethel to go to his father's house to Hebron. Whilst they were going in the road, there was yet but a little way to come to Ephrath, and Rachel, or Rachel, bare a son, and she had a hard labor, and she died. And Yaakov buried her in the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. And he set up a pillar upon her grave, which is there until this day. And the days of Rachel were 45 years, and she died. And Yaakov called the name of his son that was born to him, which Rachel bore unto him, Benjamin. For he was born to him in the land on the right hand. And it was after the death of Rachel that Yaakov pitched his tent in the tent of her handmaid Bilhah. And Reuben was jealous for his mother Leah on the account of this. And he was filled with anger. And he rose up in his anger and went and entered into the tent of Bilhah. And he thence removed his father's bed. In other words, he laid with his brother's mama. Right? That's what that's getting at. And it says, at that time, the portions of the birthright together with the kingly and priestly office was removed from the sons of Reuben, for he had profaned his father's bed. And the birthright was given unto Joseph, then the kingly office to Yehuda, and the priesthood unto Levi, because Reuben had defiled his father's bed. So Yaakov split it up. All right, verse 16. And these are the generations of Yaakov who were born to him in Padan Aram. The sons of Yaakov were 12. Verse 17. The sons of Leah were Reuben, the firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Yehuda, Issachar, Zebulun, and their sister Dinah. And the sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, were Gad and Asher's. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, was Dan and Naphtali. These are the sons of Yaakov, which were born to him in Padan Aram. And Yaakov and his sons and all belonging to him journeyed and came to Mamre, which is Kiriath Arba, that is in Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. And Yaakov with his sons and all belonging to him dwelt with his father in Hebron. And his brother Esau and his sons and all belonging with him went to the land of Seir and dwelt there, and had possession in the land of Seir. And the children of Esau were fruitful and multiplied exceedingly in the land of Seir. And these are the generations of Esau that were born to him in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Esau were 5. Adah bore to Esau his firstborn, Eliphaz, and she bore unto him Reuel, and Alibama bore unto him Yeush, Ya'alam, and Korah. And these are the children of Esau who were born to him in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, Kanaz, Amalek, and these were the sons of Reuel, Nakath, Zarak, Shama, and Mizah. And the sons of Yeush were Timnah, Alva, Yetheth. And the sons of Ya'alam were Allah, Penor, and Kanaz. And the sons of Korah were Teman, Mizbar, or Mizar, Magdiel, and Eram. These are the families of the sons of Esau according to their dukedom in the land of Seir. And these are the names of the sons of Seir, the Horite, and the inhabitants of the land of Seir. Lotan, Shabal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishan, Ezer, Dishan, being 7 sons. And the children of Lotan were Hori, who is the progenitor of the Horites, Hori, Haman, and their sister Timnah. That is Timnah, who came to Jacob and his sons. And they would not give her to, and they would not give ear to her. And she went and became a concubine to Eliphaz, the son of Esau, and she bore him Amalek. And the sons of Shoval were Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, Onam. And the sons of Zibeon was Aya, Anah, and this was Anah who found the Yamim in the wilderness, which he fed the asses of Zibeon, his father. Whilst he was feeding his father's asses, he led them to the wilderness at different times to feed them. There was a day that he brought them to one of the deserts at the seashore, opposite of the wilderness of the people. Whilst he was feeding, behold, a very heavy storm came from the other side of the sea and rested upon the asses that were feeding there, and they all stood still. Afterwards, about 120 great terrible animals came out from the wilderness on the other side of the sea, and they all came to that place where the asses were, and they placed themselves there. And those animals from their middle downward were in the shape of the children of men. Wait.
Oh,
So
you heard it right. You heard it right.
Hold up. Okay, so this guy is feeding his asses, his donkeys, and he runs across these creatures, right? And it was on a certain day, opposite of the seashore. Usually he's in the wilderness, but he's opposite of that on this day. And whilst he was feeding them, behold, a heavy storm came on the other side of the sea and rested upon the asses that were feeding them. And they all stood still. Afterward, about 120 great and terrible animals came out of the wilderness at the other side of the sea, and they all came to the place where the asses were, and they placed themselves there. Those animals were from their middle downward were in the shape of the children of men, and from the middle upward had the likeness of bears, and some had the likeness of keepers, with tails behind them, from between their shoulders reaching down to the earth, like the tails of a ducafet. whatever that is. And these animals came and mounted up and rode upon these asses and led them away. And they went away until this day. And one of these animals and with his tail, then fled from that place. When he saw this work, he was exceedingly afraid of his life, and he fled and escaped the city. And he related this to his sons and his brothers, all that happened to him. And many men went to seek the asses, but could not find them. And Anan and his brothers went no more to that place from that day following, for they were greatly afraid of their lives. And the children of Anan, the son of Seir, were Dishan and his sister Ahibama. And the children of Dishan were Hemdad, Ishban, Ithran, and Keran. And the children of Ezer were Bilhan, Zaavan, Akan, and the children of Dishan were Uz and Aram. These were the families of the children of Seir, the Horite, according to the dukedoms in the land of Seir. And Esau and his children in the land of Seir, the Horite, or dwelt in the land of Seir, the Horites, the inhabitants of the land. And they had possessions in it and were fruitful and multiplied exceedingly. And Jacob and his children and all belonging to them dwelt with their father Isaac in the land of Canaan, as Yahuwah had commanded Abraham their father. Hallelujah.
All right, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, Yisrael, that concludes our study for this evening. Once again, I say thank you for tuning in with us. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, comment, all of that good stuff. Don't forget to check out some of the other channels as well. You got the Negro Onlys channel. You have the I'm drawing a brain fart. Y'all know, help me out.
You got the hidden ones with Sis Hadassah. We got Resurrecting the Truth with Lamar Kadar. We got Aki Bree, where he's got some things going on too. So yeah, check us out if y'all can. Make sure y'all beat up that like, share, and subscribe button. I guess my final word for y'all would be remember Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. For this is the duty of all man, is to fear Yahuwah and keep his command. So with that, I say shalom.
All right, couldn't have been said myself. I'll say Baruch Hu Yahuwah Helme Verek Lo Alam Va'id Asher Natan Lanu Helma Kuth Arama Goel Be Mashiach. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, forever and ever, for giving us your kingdom on earth, redeemed in the Messiah. With that, we say shalom, shalom, Yisrael, until next week.
Shalom, shalom. Shout out to the comment section as well. We see you praise him, Yamisha. Shalom. Thanks for viewing and hollering us out.
Yeah, it's the blackout. And y'all know what them blacks about. Yeah. Okay, say it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Forget an LLC. The world was black owned. Black kings, black crowns on a black throne. Black kings, black queens making black clones. Black peace back east, bringing back those. Poverty, slavery, and they snatch souls. Prison system, feminism, and the crack soul. Still couldn't kill us, then we came back bold. The Most High put some fire on these black coals. I ain't here to jeopardize it, just to edify it. This is my Malcolm X mixed with some Hezekiah. This some Muhammad Ali with some Nehemiah. This some stop being the lowest, time to get higher. Even at our best, we still ain't maxed out. I wish I had a wood, I bring the axe out. And all we ever do is bring the facts out. Once the blacks come in, it's a blackout. Wow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Ain't no more black people going to hell. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.